Hello, my name is Christopher Martin, and I will be teaching several classes for Homeschool Connections in the coming school year. If you're curious about the sort of material you might encounter in my class, I'd like to share a story with you. Let me introduce James Longstreet, a Confederate general in the Civil War.
Generally, when we talk about Confederate generals, two main figures come to mind: Robert E. Lee, the commander of the Army of Northern Virginia, and Thomas Jackson, one of Lee's corps commanders, often called Stonewall Jackson. Yet for all their acclaim, it seems odd that Longstreet usually isn't mentioned with Lee and Jackson. You see, Lee usually left battle tactics in the hands of his corps commanders, Jackson and Longstreet, and while that explains Jackson's fame, Lee actually went out of his way to make Longstreet the senior corps commander. That means that Longstreet, not Jackson, was Lee's most trusted subordinate and second in command. Indeed, Longstreet's performance in the war certainly merited attention. His stellar defense at Fredericksburg was beyond threat, and his attacks at Second Bull Run, Manassas, Chickamauga, and the Wilderness nearly destroyed the opposing army. So then why don't we hear so much about Longstreet? Well, first of all, Longstreet felt the best thing for Southerners to do after the war was to ally themselves with the party in power, the Republicans. Most Southerners despised the Republican attempts to create racial equality and saw the Republicans as vindictive tyrants. Longstreet's alliance with the Republicans, even accepting a government position from his friend President Grant, branded him a traitor to the South. Secondly, we need to remember that the Civil War occurred in the wake of the Second Great Awakening, with the result that many people, including Lee and Jackson, often spoke of God in an emotional, impassioned way. Longstreet, however, became very reserved after a personal tragedy in the winter of 1862, when 3 of his children, aged 11, 4, and 1, all died of scarlet fever. Catholicism's emphasis on the inner spiritual life and the lack of political biases in the Catholic pews attracted him, and he converted in 1877. To Southerners who already questioned Longstreet's character, this conversion made him not just a traitor, but also an apostate.
After the Civil War, Southerners quickly latched onto Lee and Jackson as their cultural icons, and they largely wrote Longstreet out of their history. The end result is that we have not only heard more about Lee and Jackson than about Longstreet, but we also have a much better understanding of how the South treated Catholics and friends of black civil rights in the Reconstruction era. Again, I'm Christopher Martin, and hope to see you again soon.